Hello, hello. Happy Sunday, guys. Happy Mother's Day as well to all of my friends, family, and Facebook friends around the world, YouTube as well. Happy Mother's Day. Whether you're a mother of children or a mother of dogs and cats and horses and all the above. So, happy Mother's Day. Hi, Cecilia. Oh, you have company coming? I figured, when I started to do this on Mother's Day, I couldn't last week, and then I'm gone this coming week, this coming weekend. So I only had 2 Sundays in May that I could do a live, and Mother's Day happened to be one. So happy Mother's Day. So Henriette, on Facebook, you were the first one to comment. So message me and let me know what ePacket you want off my website. Judy Thacker, you were the first on YouTube. So message me and let me know what ePacket you'd like, and I will get that out to you guys. All right? So, hi Molly Ann, hi Peg and Linda, and Janet and Ann, and Diane and Melissa. A lot of people on. Hi guys. Deborah, I really thought I might have 5. Hi Gilbert. Where did I see that? I saw something. Marlene, don't worry about that. I'll take care of you. I will hook you up. I know the person in charge of shipping. So hi Sue, hi Bev, hi Diane Hornberger. Alrighty, hi Carol and Lynn. Hi Jackie. So we'll give a few minutes. We're gonna get started quickly. Hi Robin Storm and Kathy Barnett. It's good to see you guys on. Oh, you're so welcome, Judy. You're so welcome. I appreciate you. So let's see if I can move that. Facebook was acting weird this morning, so let's hope and pray that we don't have happen what happened last time when we did, do I have it? That mixed media butter dragonfly piece. Hi Monty, hi Pilar in Madrid, how are you doing? My Mother's Day flowers and my Mother's Day cards, with the exception of one that's a birthday card. I'll tell you a funny story. So I check every day if you'd really go live today because it's Mother's Day. I know. I was tempted not to, but my boys couldn't be here, and my husband went to see his brother race cars last night, and so he got home this morning, and I just thought I only have 2 Sundays in May to do a live, so this is the first. So your studio looks all nice and clean today. Thank you, Anne. So I spent Friday night making an absolute horrendous mess of my studio, as you do when you're creating mixed media, and it was backgrounds, and so I had paint and stamps and gesso and you name it, stencils everywhere. My hands were covered in paint. I think I shared it on my stories on Instagram. But I spent yesterday from about 8:30 to 9 o'clock until 11:30 last night cleaning this pigsty. So, oh, hi Donna. So hopefully Facebook's not going to act up today. I said a prayer before we started that it would go off without a hitch. And I'm not seeing the stars on Facebook. We're glad you're with us today. Let's have fun. Let's have a ton of fun. Glad you're on. No one around here today, so this is great. Well, that someone said, oh, it'll be nice to, spend Mother's Day with you. And I'm happy to spend Mother's Day with y'all. So, sunny Southern Ontario. Hi, Sue. Hi, Ann. Happy Mother's Day, guys. Aunt Jerry's Kitchen. Hi, Jerry. Happy Mother's Day. All right. So we're going to give maybe a couple more minutes. So I got some happy mail I want to share with you guys. Love, love, love happy mail. I'm just going to move a couple things out of the way. So, I'm trying to think, I probably should pan down to show you happy mail. But before we get started, let me just remind Peggy, you won the brush set from not my last live. I announced you on the last live. So message me your information and I will get these brushes off to you. We have some giveaways today. Had some generous companies share some things, and so I will draw for those. All you have to do to enter the giveaway is like, comment, share, and I will do a drawing on, let me look, probably Thursday. I think Thursday I'll pop on and announce the winners either with a post or me live. Okay. Hi, Wendy Young. Hi, Carol. Hi, Lynn. So, story about my Mother's Day cards. I don't know about y'all. I've kind of gotten to the age where I don't need expensive gifts while I get them from my family, or gifts just in general. But a card from my boys, you know, when they write in them. It's not just, I'm going to get a card, you know, love and their name. So they write in them. So we got my middle son's card, and he does not fall, the apple does not fall far from the tree. Let me just say that. Oh, you're welcome, Debbie. Thank you guys for giving me your time and being here. So, so I get my Mother's Day card from him and I open it and it's a happy birthday card. And so I want to go, well, this is your, you know, your Mother's Day. So, but what's funny about that is I am notorious for looking at cards and then like if something's crooked on, like if it's crimped on the front or if it's got a crease or the corner's messed up, I will just reach behind the one that's behind it and an envelope and I go check out. Can I just tell you that probably 8 out of 10 times it's the wrong card. Like someone has put the wrong card back behind the Mother's Day card or the birthday card or whatever the case may be. And so when I got that, my husband and I just died laughing because, like I said, the apple does not fall far from the tree. And instead of returning it, he thought it would be funny. And so he wrote in it, so sorry, grabbed a Mother's Day card instead, but you know, I mean a birthday card instead for Mother's Day. So he is a hoot. Anywho, you were lucky my son hasn't even called. Judy, I hope he calls you today. You're amazing. And I know he probably knows how amazing you are. So, yeah, it's a difficult day for my husband. This is the first Mother's Day without his mom. And, like I was telling my membership group the other night, I was blessed not only with an amazing mother, but an amazing mother-in-love, just a saint. And so unfortunately we lost her last August, and it was nice that my husband was able to be with his sister and younger brother. And I know his older brother was there in spirit. So shared the love on Facebook. Thank you, Melissa. Thank you. I got your message, got your order. We'll take care of that. Hello from Ontario, Canada. Hi, Debbie. Carol, right? I mean, and it was nice he threw a gift card in there too, but I just had to giggle because that is me. I am the world's worst about doing that. So even though I know I do that, I still don't check. So I guess I'm just in a hurry and I grab the card, and so you miss your mom, Bonnie. I know. It is hard for the first time. And so all of y'all, my mom's mom, my grandmother, passed 2 years ago, I think. Yes, November of 2021. No. Anyway, but it's my mom's, you know, Mother's Day without her mom as well. So, hard to swallow a lot of days because we certainly miss them, right? All right, it's 3:09. You guys ready to get started? So I am going to share the giveaway or the giveaways, but I'm also going to share some happy mail I got. And I think it'd be easier if I just put the camera down so that you can see them. You have to look at me holding them up. But I'm just looking to make sure everything is working because I've been a little worried. We visited today with my mother-in-law who is 96. So glad that we could again with COVID. Oh gosh, that is awesome. But we love you anyway, Sandy, even with the wrong cards, right? right? When using shimmer spray, should you use matte medium over it to keep it from reactivating? So the Deco Art, and Miguel, that's a really good question. The Deco Art shimmer spray misters, I don't have them. I have them over there. They do not reactivate. They're permanent. So you want to let them completely dry, and you can paint over them, put water on them. It's not going to reactivate. So it's one of my favorite. I do have a couple others, different brand, and they do reactivate. So I just use a little bit of matte spray to spray over it to kind of set it so that I can move on and it not move. So anyways, I'm with you. I have no expectations. I know, Chris, I'm sending you lots of love and big hugs. Hi, Linda Safranco. Lucy, I was excited about you coming on. I rushed home Saturday thinking it was Sunday. Oh, well, bless you. Thank you. Thanks for being here, Lucy. And we're having gorgeous weather in Georgia today. In fact, it's 70 degrees down here and beautiful and sunny. And when I get done, I think I'm going to go take a walk around the block. So I did not get my walk in today. But, all right, it's 3:11. Let's get started. All right. Oh, you're so welcome, Ann. What I was going to say is it's a little difficult for me while I'm painting to also look at the comments. So if you have any questions at all, put them in the comments and I will go back and answer anything. All right. So hi, Ann from sunny Florida. Okay, Nancy, thank you so much for the stars. I appreciate that. So on Facebook, there are stars. And you can, it's in the comment section, you'll see a little star. I didn't see them on my page. Maybe because it's my page, I don't see them. But anyway, thank you, Nancy, because that money goes to the World's Kitchen that feeds people around the world that are in dire need, like the people in Ukraine right now. Anywho's, all right, let's get started. I'm going to turn right down here. So let's start first with Happy Mail. And I'm going to call out one of my members, Ann McGow. Thank you so very much. I know I did this on my group page, but she said I was going to order these. And before I could, Ann sent me a pack. These are the Friction, the Pilot pen, and you can transfer your patterns, and then you use a heat tool, and the ink goes away. How amazing is that? So thank you, Ann. And she also sent me this lovely typed note. And I saw these too on Amazon and I thought, I really need that for my desk. And so again, she sent it to me. Thank you. I love, love, love. Super cute. And greatly appreciate that Happy Mail. So the other thing I got, let's see. I got some new stencils from my friends over at CD Wood. I'm going to pop their link up right now. So, wow. The piece I'm using today, the surface, is also from this company, Cover Distributing, CD Wood, Chris Hoy, Lindsay, all them over there, that just Jen, Drake, they're just all amazing. John, can't leave John out. So they sent me these new stencils they have, and I have to tell you guys, I know that I'm going to be a little obsessed with these. How fun are those? So a set of like these little doily stencils, just so intricate, so fun, so pretty. I won't open them all, but so some really cool, fun designs that you will be seeing in some designs of mine soon. Okay, love, love, love. Isn't that awesome? Because just think what you can paint right inside that circle. So now they need one, Lindsay, just saying, you need one that has butterflies. I'm going to send you a pattern. Okay, how cool. That one kind of reminds me of like peacock feathers, right? In fact, this is what I want you guys to think about with stencils as well, is just because this is a circle stencil that has a lot of design going on, that doesn't mean that you can't tape it off and just use that, right? Right there, that would make a beautiful peacock feather, right? So, and I love, 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 love this one. Okay, so again, I'll just pop that up real quick, and it is cdwood.com. I'm going to move that out of the way. I moved my little cart over here today, so it'd be easier for me to grab things. Okay, and then I got the sweetest note and package for my friend. I'm going to zoom in just a little. I feel like I've got a shadow, which I normally don't have right here. Not the paper has a shadow anyway. But my friend Karen Wilson in Canada, just the sweetest, and she sent a picture of her father, which I love. And when her dad was a kid, he would go to the store and get candy, and in the candy bars or candy, they would have these cards that he collected, obviously, and so they are from around 1920. And she thought how awesome they would be in mixed media, in backgrounds, things like that. Let's zoom in even more. So, but how awesome are these? And so detailed, so fun. I cannot wait to use these. And Karen, thank you so very much. How incredibly sweet of you to share a piece of your dad with me, you know, and a little bit of his collecting. Because I love to collect everything that I can use in art. And these are just amazing. Karen, thank you so, so much. Got the sweetest heart. All right, so I'm going to move those so I don't get them wet. We don't want them there. All right. Oops, and I just dropped the other one. Hold on. All righty. So, I got happy mail from my friends over at Graphics. So if you're not familiar with Graphics, let me just tell you who, and I really should have put her link here. Cat, like a cat, C-A-T, Kerr, K-E-R-R. You can find her here on YouTube. Not right now. Wait till we're done. But she uses a lot of graphics and does amazing stuff with it. So this one is like a chipboard, and then it has the little discs that you can put on. So they sent me some samples from NAMTA when I was there. We talked about getting some samples. And so they sent me this plastic shrink film. And then this stuff, guys, this is amazing. And I cannot wait to start creating with it. But it's clear, paintable, printable. You can do so many things with this plastic sheet. So I think it's called Duralar, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, so I will be doing some things with that and sharing those with you guys as well. All right. Okay. Do you guys want to talk about giveaways? Okay. Like I said, Peggy, message me. I will get those stencil brushes off to you. And we've got some really cool giveaways today. I'm just going to grab them. Now, on our last live, unfortunately, Facebook decided to kick us out, right? So I thought, so those at CD Wood. Yes. Oh, and let me tell you too, if you're in Canada on the CD Wood stencils, let me find, I've got to look through the right part of my glasses. So check out Tracy Moreau's site. She is now carrying some of CD Wood stencils. A lot of their new collage stencils and everything. So make sure to check out Tracy's site as well so that you can pick those up. All right. Okay. So giveaways, I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, I have 4 giveaways today. Like I said, last week, there's a bug on my ceiling over there. Hopefully he won't come over here. But the Facebook ended, the live ended for no reason. And the content was gone. It didn't even save it. It didn't save it to where it cut off. So I didn't know who commented, who shared, or anything. It just, all of it went away. So we're going to start fresh. I'm so sorry. But I will come right down here. Again, all you have to do is like, comment, share. So, hi Georgie, hi Marilyn, hi Claudia, hi Cindy, hi Debbie. I just keep, yes, sprinkled. Thank you, Debbie. If you guys don't know what sprinkled is, that's like, comment, and share. What was that, Robin? Southern California, you received your package. Oh, wonderful. I cannot wait to see what you do with the water marbling. Okay, so I have a set of 3 stamps. Let me zoom out just a tad because I feel like that's really close. Okay, and so we have a, I love this one. I think it's called Floral Wings, Stampendous Slimline stamp. And then, because it's almost fall, and I have a really cool thing I'm doing with this one in my new series, and I'll tell you guys about that today as well. So this is the sunflower spray. And then, this makes me happy. It just, I'm not a llama or a sloth or, you know, those things that are kind of trending and which they have over the years, but I just thought these were too cute not to grab and put with the giveaway. Okay, giveaway 1. Let's move that to the side. Then I just got these in, and these are the Crafters Workshop stencils. So I love the slimline design. So we have, what is this one? Circular rings and slimline patchwork feather. How fun is that? And then stacked teacups, which leads me to tell you guys my next series is going to be a 4-part series. And it is stacked teacups, spring, summer, winter, and fall. Okay. And so that was the second giveaway. The third, which is one that I had from last time we got cut off, were angle brushes. And since we got cut off, I went ahead and threw in, not sure if you guys know, but FM Brush Dynasty, they also make makeup brushes and a lot of brushes for like crime scenes and fingerprints, things like that. So I threw in this set of their makeup brushes. Okay, so angle brushes and makeup brushes in a case. Love them, love them. They're super soft, so fun. And like if Gilbert, if you win, I'm sure you're not going to use them for makeup, but they're really good as a mop as well, like when you're painting, and I'm going to show you guys how to use a mop today. So, okay, and then the fourth, my good friends over at General Pencil gave me 3 giveaways when I was at NAMTA, and so you have the Masters soap, which is fantastic for washing your brushes. And my tip for this is go get one of those plastic travel case soap containers and leave it in that. And then when you need to, you know, dress your brushes, wash them, whatever, you can use that. Okay, this right here is an amazing stain remover. Clothes, hands, you name it. So fantastic. And then the brush cleaner and preserver. So we have the soap and then the preserver. Not sure if you guys have ever done this before, but after you wash your brushes, you can dress the brush on both sides with just one swipe and let it, and that will keep all the bristles together. And it's just a nice way to keep the shape, the nice chisel edge, if you've cleaned them well. So those 3 to the 4th winner. Okay, so, and then I don't know if I can talk about, this is Happy Mail I got too, and I don't know if I can talk about it, so I wasn't going to, but I want to show you how pretty it is. Norma Jean Bingaman, thank you for the stars. Thank you, thank you. But my friend, Lana Lamb, is incredibly talented, so amazing. If you guys have not checked out her website, check it out, lanalamb.com. But she made this journal, and oh my gosh, guys, it's amazing. So thank you, Lana. I will get back to you on this as requested. All right, let's move that. Speaking of journals, I finally got my journal order in. That has been on order since September. So, alrighty, today we're doing the 6th. Cindy Jansen, thank you for the stars. Greatly appreciate that. And if you're on YouTube and you're wondering what the heck's she talking about, on Facebook, you can put stars. You can give stars. And I am going to give all that money to the World's Kitchen. Okay, so today, this is the 6th, and I'm gonna say tentatively final design in this spring flower series. Okay, so let's kind of go through what we have done so far. So I have the daffodil that we did first. Now today what I'm going to show you is the hydrangea, the stem, the leaves, and the dragonfly. To get how I did the background and the frame, you can go to my YouTube channel and see this lesson. All right. So there's no sense in me taking y'all's time or my time to show you how I stenciled and stamped it, because it is on this lesson on YouTube. All right. So this was the first in our series. And then we did, oh yeah. So that was the first. This was the second, which I accidentally did on the back of my original daffodil. So that's the second in the series. And then the third, I'll put that over there, was the wild iris. And all these lessons again are on my YouTube channel. And then we had the stargazer. Well, I did that one. Let me find it. And then remember on the live, I decided it needed something. The other one had butterflies and bees. And so on this one, I did a dragonfly. And then we did stargazer lily. So I'll put that frame on there. Right. And then we did the calla lily. So again, all those lessons are on my YouTube channel, and you can get the instructional packet and everything on my website. If you use that discount code, all capital letters, ART, real original, right? If you use that on my website, then you can get a discount, even things on sale. You ready? Okay, so this is where we're going to start today. Show you how I painted my spring hydrangea. Now, this is a little more structured for me on painting hydrangeas. I typically will slap my brush and make the impression of the look of a petal. And I should have grabbed it, and I'm going to grab it because it's right here so I can show you. So I'll have to scroll out, I'm sure. But, oh, well, that's good. So see, it's just like the swipe of a brush. So that's typically how I make my hydrangeas, a little bit more impressionistic. Sometimes I put dots in the center for the little, flower cluster center, but oftentimes I don't. This one I actually painted in water-soluble oils, but it is on my list to paint in acrylics. So this one will probably be a future Sundays in the Studio with Sandy. So, hello, Donna. Good to see you on. I hope you're well. I miss seeing you at shows. Okay, so let me tell you what I've done first. Did the background exactly the same as my other 5 with the stencils. So the vintage note. So M23, these are on my website as well. It's a stencil line I have with Tracy Moreau called M Squared. So I use the stencils in the background. And then from the Grunge, Stampendous Grunge set, if you have that, you have a little cancellation stamp. Let me just tell you, find a block to put it on, because that little bugger right there, this is my third. I have no clue where the other 2 are. And then the Stampendous Vintage Note that I pressed in the background. Okay. And then when you get the ePacket, if you get the ePacket, and thank you for everyone that did get the ePacket on my website, it comes with step-by-step instructions and pictures and line drawing, so that it tells you exactly what to do, all right? But I do think a video helps to follow along. So I'm going to move the frame out of the way. Okay. And so what I did on here to start was I base coated the flowers in with warm white. And then I came back, let's zoom in because we're gonna just kind of stick here real quick. There we go. Let me move that so I can see it. And then the flower petals, I did lavender. Now, what I did first, just to kind of help me keep the shape of everything, again, I can paint a hydrangea in about 4 minutes with my slip slap technique. But so the clusters that I could see, there were actually clusters of petals, 3 or 4. I went ahead and base coated in with lavender, and then I base coated again. So it has 2 coats. All right, so you can see those are darker. And then the petals behind, I just did 1 coat so that you can see where the petals are. And then we also have some spaces that have nothing. Now, that is going to be those dark spaces. So see those little dark pockets? That's going to help give that hydrangea that ball effect. Like it, you know, it's got some great dimension. So that's what I did with the lavender, and I just did 1 layer on the back. We're gonna start with the petals that are darker. And then the stem, I went ahead and base coated that in with antique green. And we're gonna shade and do all that stuff. Same with the dragonfly, I did that with plantation pine, okay? So we're gonna zoom in here. Thank you, Lori, I appreciate that. I love creating them. Let's come out just a touch. And I'm super excited about my next series, the stacked teacups. I did, with my membership group, I did the spring one with pansies. I'm gonna change it up a little bit, but I have, like I said, winter, spring, summer, and fall. So, okay. So I'm gonna get my palette so that I can show you that. Again, base coated with warm white, then lavender, and now we're just gonna play around with color on our stems, our leaves, and then we'll get to our flower. So I'm gonna get out some plantation pine, and I'm just going to see if I can get my palette close enough. It's hard to show this close and the palette, so I will try and remember to lift that up. I know I'm gonna need more than that. And then some warm white. Okay. Thank you, Carol. Thanks, Chris. I loved the stacked teacups and just was blown away by the pages on our group, right? Let's get out a little bit of Payne's Gray. Now, if you don't have it in the media line, let me just say you're missing out. If you do not like to float color, the media line is perfect for floating color. Shadows and, so Payne's Gray is my favorite, but you can also get it in the Americana line. So I'm gonna put some of that out. And I think that's it for now. All right, let's get an angle brush. Well, that one is has paint in it. Hello. That's one thing I was doing last night too in my studio, was separating my brushes from ones that maybe I have worn out. I do have a hard time getting rid of them though. So, all right, so let's get some water on our brush, wipe it off on our paper towel. And I'm gonna pick up some plantation pine. Remember, like I said, a little difficult for me to look up often at the comments and not be like squirrel and then forget what I was talking about. So if I don't answer your question, I definitely will come back to it. All right. Okay, thank you, Dawn. I appreciate that. So the toe of the brush, an angle brush, if you're not familiar, has a toe and a heel. As you can see, it is at an angle. So what this does when you're floating is it helps you get that nice float of color. It's my preferred way to float. I used to use a flat brush for everything. So, all right, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna take that brush and I'm gonna come right up here and I'm going to float that color. Now, look how my brush is at an angle and my brush is flat, and I can already tell I need to switch brushes. See how I just wiped it off? Not the end of the world. I need to switch to a 3/8 angle. That 1/2 inch is a little too big for what I'm trying to do. Alrighty, so let's get this 1/2 inch angle. get it wet, dry it off, same thing. Load that toe with some plantation pine, and we're just going to float that down. And what I wanted you to notice is how my brush is flat. All right, it's flat at an angle. So I am leading with that heel, and I'm going to float that color right along that stem on the left-hand side. Okay, so. And don't worry if it goes over a little too far, because we're going to put a highlight, and if it goes out of the lines, just do that. Just bring it right back in. Now, our dragonfly wing is right over the stem. I'm not worried about that. I can always come back and add that in. Now, when I get down here, it has a little bit of a, I will show you on the original. See how it has a little bit where it's lighter on the top, darker on the bottom? We will make that dimensional when we add that lighter layer. And we will darken this a little bit. I know I'm going to darken it with some Payne's Gray. Don't be afraid to use your fingers to swipe. It's a really great blender. All right, so then I'm going to take that same color, going back to my 1/2 inch angle, loading the toe up with that green, again, just on the toe. And once you load it up, you can come over here, walk away from that puddle of paint, just so you don't have so much paint on your brush, okay? And then what I'm going to do is I will start here, and I'm going to float that center little vein right down that leaf. Now, notice how it curves. It moves and curves with the shape of that leaf. If I just did it straight, it would look odd. It would look off. And you know, that right there accentuates that lift. So you want to make sure that you follow the shape of your leaf. We'll do the same thing over here. Try and keep my hand out of the way. Let's get that back in line. And I love the leaves on this piece. So I love the color. I love the way they came out. And then we'll do this one as well. I'm turning it so I can keep my hand out of y'all's way to view it. I'm just gonna slide that right up on that right side, that underside of that stem. And then I'm gonna come right up in here and float that stem that goes right there, okay? So now we have our leaves. I feel like I have a little, yeah, right there. Okay. I'm going to dry that real quick, because if I don't, I tend to get into it. Debbie Bennett, yes. I have to tell you, like I said, I used to always use flat brushes, and flat brushes work great. In fact, let me just show you. So again, this is the angle brush. What I like about it is that has no color on it, but the moisture that is in your brush is going to help that bleed. So you're going to get that initial color, and then it gradates over, right? You can do the same thing with a flat brush. I don't use a flat brush anymore for shading, because I am very partial to angle brushes. So a flat brush, let's find one here. Same thing, I can take my corner right there and just load the corner. Okay, and then same thing. You can float with that. All right, that corner you have to be careful for when you're floating though. And the angle brush is made at an angle, so it automatically moves it and takes it away, which is nice. All right, we're going to come back in with a little bit of that plantation pine, again on the toe of the brush only. A really good tip too, if you need to see if there's any color on that side, then just kind of pinch it a little bit, and if it is, wash it out, start over. So I just had a little bit, so I just wiped that off. Okay. What I want to do now is I'm going to come in with my angle brush. See how it didn't come off? I need a little bit more moisture. I'm going to come in on the bottom of this leaf. The other great thing about an angle is watch how that point, I can get that point right to the edge of that leaf. And I'm going to float that color on, okay? And then I'm just going to soften from here over. So just going to start giving our leaf some shape. And again, I don't know, guys, look at those finished ones. I loved them. So I patted myself on the back. Let's say that. All right, so turn that, keep my hand out of the way. I'm going to do the same thing over on this side. I want to float that color right down, and then that point goes right off, and then just soften right there to that middle. So you can get, now I have a little bit of a line, so I'm going to wipe my brush off, and I'm just going to softly soften that out. Now the thing with floating color, you're going to start seeing it if I keep going over it, is it will lift if you keep going over it. So kind of put it on and leave it alone. If you need to dry it in between, that's the best thing to do. All right. So yeah, Molly Ann mentioned, so this is the palette I use. I have for years. This Gray Matters, Jack Richardson. They have it at Hobby Lobby. I ordered on Amazon. I've always had pretty good luck finding it there. All right, which way do I want to turn this to keep my hand out of the way? We will turn it that way. Okay, so again, I'm just going to slide up that stem and then float that color right to that edge. Those little jagged, oops, get back in there. Okay, and then you can soften that out with that brush. All right, now let's get out some antique green. So almost all these colors I used in the other 5 designs as well. So I really tried to keep it same stencils, same stamps, same paint colors. For, you know, like the purple iris, I used a lot of the same colors for this. I'm seeing a pencil line right there and it's aggravating me. So when we come back, I'll show you a trick with the background color. Okay, so we're going to take the antique green and I'm going to load that on the toe, both sides, work it that way, and then just kind of walk it over a little. Then I'm going to come in and on the toe, just pick up a tiny touch of warm white. So see how I just take the tip and touch. Don't do here, because then you contaminate all your color. Take it to the side, work that in, both sides, and then we are going to go to our center vein. And so on this, I'm going to take that color right down that center vein. And then I like to just kind of soften it on the end, Now, if you're like, ooh, that's so bright, don't worry. There's a way to fix it, okay? But that just gives your leaf a really pretty highlight on that side. That line on this side gives it like a divot in your leaf, right? Where you have that vein going through. Okay, so see if I can keep my hand out of the way. I'll do this side. Okay. And then over here, we will come up. On that side. Okay, so we've got our little veins. I'm going to dry this because I will get into it. My brush has a little bit of water in it, yes. Great question. Lynn, you missed the name of what? Let me know and I will let you know. And why are we, looks like YouTube's acting up today. The best way to get better at floating color is to float color. So when you're done painting, if you have your palette of colors and you've got a little bit of time, take your colors with your angle brush and sit there just with a piece of computer paper or something and, you know, start floating. The more you do it, the better you get. And I promise you will start to feel that in your hand, that muscle memory. So, all right. So now we're going to take that same color, load that up, antique green, a little bit of warm white, and we're going to come over here to the highlighted side. Now, remember the heel doesn't have any color. So we're going to be able to start back here and it's not going to affect that color at all. And I can do my little sections that come off from my leaf. Okay, just like that. Now, I'm going to use a mop. So this is just a medium soft flat top. It's an IPC by Dynasty. I do carry these. It's nice and soft. So you can just kind of soften right where that meets that leaf, just to kind of soften that look. Let me zoom in a little bit more. There we go. And then I'll zoom out when we, yes, I'm an angle girl, Carol. When we go to the stem, I'll pull back out so that you guys can see. Okay, so again, that antique green, warm white, come right here. Okay, so I have my dark side of my leaf here. So we'll do our highlight over here. I'm just going to soften that out, just like that. And then I will take that, just kind of soften it. And then same thing on this one. We will do our highlight right there. And I can already see I'm getting a line that I don't want. So I'm going to come back. Wipe off my brush, I'm going to soften it here, probably with my finger. There we go. And then with that mop. Just kind of soften that look. Okay. And then since that line, it's throwing me off, I don't want it to throw you guys off. So I am going to go ahead and use a little bit of that background color, which is slate gray. I'm still live on Facebook. Not sure about, I see that, but I'm still live. It shows 76 people. Who is still on Facebook with me? Let me know. And this person on, what you call it, is on YouTube spamming me. So we're going to remove and report you. Yes. There we go. We reported you. So maybe they'll kick you off. Sound keeps cutting out here too. This is not good. I'm going to keep going. All right. Thank you, Molly Ann. Yep, I just took care of it. Alrighty. I might need to reconsider the time. This time's always worked really well for me on Sundays, but lately it has seemed to really be messing up on Sundays at this time. So I want to bring that. Sorry guys, can't do anything about it. I'm going to keep going. If it cuts out, I'm going to keep painting. This is still recording, and I will post it. Okay. Sometimes you just need to leave well enough alone, and I just messed that up. So I'm going to come back. Okay. That's too bad. She does such a great job. Switch off to YouTube. You can see it better. Okay, you're still here. You're still here. Yes, I still have people on Facebook. I'm seeing it. It looks like it's live. So, alrighty. Good to know. Cool, cool, cool. So, let's come over to dry brushing in a minute, but we're going to take care of our stem. So I'm going to come in with my 3/8 angle. This one has seen better days. I'm going to do the same exact thing. A little bit of moisture in my brush, a little bit of antique green and warm white on the toe of the brush. What's weird is I don't see any pausing on my side. So I don't know. Okay, so I want to highlight this other side of the stem. And I'm going to help it along with my finger. So, come from down here. Just help it along with your finger. A little bit more moisture. Believe me, as frustrating it is for you guys to watch, it's frustrating for me. And I wish I could do something about it, but I can't, unfortunately. Except maybe pick a different time. All right, so I have that highlighted side on my stem. I am going to come right down here and right above that dark part right there, I'm going to take a little bit of that lighter color and I'm just going to very lightly highlight it right there. Okay, just to give us a little bit of dimension. And then I need to darken that up just a little. All righty. So, tried at midnight, hardly any comment. Yeah, I won't be awake for that. Let's do some dry brushing. So I'm going to use a Mezzaluna brush, either a medium or a small. These are stiff bristle with a little soft bristle mix, and they are great for dry brushing. I love to use them just to get a little bit more texture. I'm going to load them up like I would a stencil brush. A little bit of what is that? Antique green and a little bit of warm white. Let's mix that. And then you want to take a dry paper towel. Linda, I like this time as well. It really works better for me than, like, you know, I was doing it at 2. And I don't know, I just felt rushed. So 3 is a really good time for me. Okay, I'm going to turn it so I can keep my hand out of the way. But basically what I want to do now is I want to dry brush a little highlight. I wiped off too much. A little bit of a highlight on that stem. Use your finger to soften that out. Just kind of scrub it. Okay, I need to turn that, make sure I'm okay. But I want a little bit more texture even than that, so I'm going to pick up some more. And just kind of right in the center of that stem, I'm just going to dry brush a little bit of texture, lighter color. All right. Now remember I said we were going to darken that shading up just a little, so I'm going to use my 3/8 angle. Little bit of, Let's come over here. Plantation pine, a little bit of Payne's gray. And I'm going to, so this is media, the media line, fluid acrylics, and that's regular acrylics. You can mix them. You can interchange. You know, I have both on here, and I love that. So I'm just I'm going to darken a little bit of that shading on that left side. And then I'm also going to put a little bit on that leaf right there, which you can't see because I'm not on camera. Okay. Let's add some dry brushing to our leaves. So this time I'm going to use the medium Mezzaluna, and this one looks like it has pink in it. So this will be a good way for me to show you how to wash your Mezzaluna brushes. I washed mine with hand sanitizer because the hand sanitizer will evaporate and I can move on to the next color. So, yep, I must have used that on something. So then you want to just wipe it off really well. When this evaporates, you're ready to use it. The alcohol will evaporate faster than water, okay? So I don't want this brush wet. I want to use it like a stencil brush, okay? So we're going to dry brush some, let's see here. We're going to dry brush some of the antique green, warm white. Antique green, warm white, work that in. Paper towel, wipe almost all of it off. Okay, now I'm going to take that brush, very light pressure. If you use a lot of pressure and you have too much paint, you're gonna be like, oh, I just messed that up. So very light pressure, and I'm doing almost like a tiny little circle, okay? So I'm just going to scrub a little bit of that on. The fix, if it's too bright, is just to do a wash of plantation pine over it. And then I want a little highlight over on this side. Just like that. I love that, guys. Don't you? I love the way that just gives it a little bit of that golden touch. So we'll come over here and do it on the highlighted side of our leaf first. I haven't reloaded my brush. I did a little bit more pressure and I can see a little too much paint still. Scrub that off. And then a little bit over here. Soft circular little movement with your brush. Little bit of pressure until you feel like you need to add more. And turn that over. So I really like that brightness. That just didn't hit the mark for me. So let's reload. We'll come over here. It's easier to build the layers than it is to put a whole bunch of paint on it and be like, ugh, I just messed that up. Okay, so then we'll pick up some more antique green, warm white, load it on, wipe it off. And this one, we will highlight here. The other thing with doing a soft circular motion, if I did this, what I would get is a line. And then I'd have a harsh line ending and starting. And so soft circular motion, and I'm kind of moving up and down, back and forth to get that highlight. And then we will put some on this side. Just too much, Sandy. When you wipe it off as well, you want to make sure that you are wiping off on a dry paper towel and not a baby wipe, which I think is what I just did. Yes, I knew it. So it's going to leave me a little hole. So I'm going to leave that for right now. I'm going to dry it. I need to figure out how to block this person on YouTube. put user in timeout. Sorry about that, guys, on YouTube. I hide user on this channel. There we go. So he knows I'm doing it because he can hear me. Bye, Robin. Enjoy your kids on this Mother's Day. All right, so I'm gonna pick up a little bit more. This time I picked up a little bit more warm white. And remember, I still need to add there, but I'm gonna leave it for now. So I added the antique green, a little bit more warm white. I just want it to look like the light's hitting, you know, kind of on that hump of the leaf as it curves and goes over. And I didn't show you the gray thing, did I? I think that's when I looked up and saw that someone said we were not on Facebook anymore, which we are. Soft little circular motion. I love the texture this gives. Okay. Alrighty. So we'll add some here. And then here. So on YouTube, that's where I need a little, I need Renee, right? Tracy's Renee to take care of those trolls that leave these horrible comments and links that do not click on those links, guys. Okay. Alrighty. So there are our leaves. I want to bump that up just a little. There we go. Okay. Now, one thing I did on here that is completely optional. I don't even think I put it in I put some purple on the leaves. And then you can also use a little pink, a little quinacridone magenta if you wanted to. But I am going to do that with a little bit of Doxine purple. You can also use the Americana Doxine purple. Jessica Killerin, thank you so much for the stars. I greatly, greatly appreciate it. It's going to the world's kitchen. At the end of this month, I'm going to take the last lives and I will let you guys know how much we gave to them. All right. So my 1/2 inch angle, rinse that out. Where is my 1/2 inch angle? Right there. We're going to get a little bit of purple. So I'm going to pick up, now this is the difference in color. That's the Doxine purple in Americana. This is the Doxine purple in the media line. Now, see how intense that is? They're highly pigmented. You do not need a lot. But I don't want it just on the toe. I'm going to kind of circle that around, pick up some more of that purple. And then we will put it right on this side. Okay, so thank you, Robin. I appreciate it. I have blocked them, but I don't know if they're going to keep coming back because that's the second time they've come back after I hit them from the channel. All right, so there's a little bit of that purple. You can add as much or as little as you want or none. Bringing that color into the leaves, and you see purple in leaves, especially hydrangea leaves. All right. But look how that, again, just gives a little bit more depth. And then on this one, we're going to come in here. Hello. Let's put that purple back in. There we go. So not as much as I have on my original. I really like the dark and depth of that one. Let me show you real quick before we move up to the hydrangea that if you, like I can see my line from my line drawing and I've already painted over it. Hi, Joni. So yes, we need a Renee. I need a Renee. So I'm going to come over here and on my 3/8 angle, pick up a little bit of the background color, which is slate gray. Okay, and I can just float that right along, right over my pencil line, my transfer line. But what I want to show you, I think I'm going to do it on this one. Let me zoom in really close so that you can see. Okay, so see how the color went outside the lines there, and the jaggedness kind of went away. So I have very little paint on my brush. My brush is damp. And I can come in with the corner of that, the toe of that brush, and I can slice into that leaf to take away that, and then just soften that out. Okay, so that will just give you a nice jagged little edge, okay, that we lost. So your background color basically is an eraser. I think I'm going to add a little bit here, a little bit there, and then I went outside the lines there, and it's going to look really light at first, but then you can fix it. Excuse me, it's going to look light at first, but it will fix itself. It just dries and it looks like it's part of the background. Okay, so like I said, this is optional. I don't have it in my instructions, but you could put a little bit of quinacridone magenta on. I love a little bit of that pink to the leaf as well. And so a little tiny touch of that. And I'm just going to do a little bit of a wash, not much. Again, another color that would look really, really pretty and very earthy and natural would be asphaltum. Okay, so you could do that. And I know we did that on one of the other in the series. Put some of that over the stem. Somewhere else that you'd have a little bit of purple would be on that stem. So you can, I wouldn't do it from the top all the way down to the bottom, but maybe a little here and there, not everywhere. And then we'll come in with a little bit of that pink. Not a lot. I want it to be more of a wash. Or you can just leave it to the purple. Okay, let's dry that. I do like that. Thank you, Debbie. I appreciate that. Yes, the fluid acrylics, highly pigmented. They are a little more expensive than regular acrylics, but you don't use as much. So, okay, you know what? We're here. We're here. Let's just stay here and let's take care of our dragonfly. Okay, so I'm going to use a small flat brush, like I put all my brushes here this morning. There we go. Number 4 flat. They also call this in Dynasty, they call this a number 4 shader. Basically, it's a flat. So I'm going to rinse that brush out and come back to my small Mezzaluna brush. Now remember, we had antique green and warm white. So antique green, warm white, mix that together. I'm going to wipe almost all of it off. You can tell I need a little bit more of that. Wipe it off. And then I'm going to kind of touch the center of that dragonfly and then down its thing there. Okay. Now, I'm going to take that number 4 flat. Am I going to take the 4 flat? Nope, I think I'm going to take a 1/4 inch angle. Okay, 1/4 inch angle. Let's pick up some plantation pine and a touch of Payne's gray. We're going to work that in on the toe of that brush only. Okay, so on the toe of that brush only. And we're going to float that down that left side of the body. I just feel like it needs to be darker. Did not get it dark enough. There we go. Let me turn that. His body got a little misshaped right there, so we will fix that. All right. And then he needs, when I did the dragonfly on the iris, I didn't give him any kind of eyes or, I don't give them feet. You know, no, they kind of freak me out. So I just omit those. I take artistic license and I leave them off. Now let's take some, that's warm white. Let's take some titanium white. All right. And I want to get water in my brush and just a touch of white. Make that into a very inky consistency. And then we're going to sit on the corner of the brush. So you've got two flat sides, two corners, right? So we're going to sit and pull. Sit and pull right to the body. So we're going to sit on that corner, push, pull, lift, and then come back. Okay. Now, where his wings meet, I kind of just take my brush and tap it because I don't want it to look, I mean, they're on his back. So, you know, because they've got a bunch of stuff going down underneath there. But I don't know, just to kind of soften that look and it doesn't look like it's just attached to the sides of his body. You want to do that white all the way into the center. And then again, just wipe off your brush and just kind of soften it out a little. Okay. I'm going to come back with that same brush, a little bit of Payne's Gray. I could switch to my angle, but I'm not. I'm just going to use this one. In between these little sections, I'm going to put a little bit of Payne's Gray. So right under that main part of his body, just a tiny little touch of Payne's Gray for those sections. Okay. We're going to do this later for a lot of things, but right now, since we're here, I'm going to take care of it. That same brush, I picked up some Payne's Gray and lots of water. See how inky that is? Now I want to test it. So I want to test it somewhere, make sure it's not too dark. And I'm going to take that brush and I'm going to do a cast shadow. So right along here, his head, on the side of his body, and then I'm going to come away from his body. To lift him up off that piece. So you see how his wings and his body just lifted right up off. Now over here, I wouldn't do too much. You can do a little sliver, but I love that. Okay, lines on his wings, optional. I'm gonna dry that. Bye, Marilyn. Have a wonderful time with your daughter. Okay. So let's get a liner brush. Where is my, there it is. So this Micron, this is a 5/0. It's very similar to like a number 2 script liner if you're used to using those. I used to only use long script liners. But I have to say, in my old age, I've kind of started moving towards shorter ones. So that same inky, hello, it helps if you're on camera, that same inky Payne's Gray, I'm just going to load that liner brush up. And then bye, Carrie, have a wonderful day. And I'm going to start here, and I'm just going to very faintly pull out little tiny lines. So faint that you hopefully don't see a lot of it. Okay, I don't want to make them too important. It's just a little detail. Now, let me hold this up so you can see too. Okay, so see how that shadow went on top of that wing right there? I love that because it's very natural. If you had a shadow there, it wouldn't just stop where that wing was, right? Because it can overlap. So don't be worried if that happens to you when you're painting yours. Alrighty, so we've got just basic little lines on our dragonfly. Our dragonfly is not done. We're going to dry that. Janet, I love that you're addicted to the media line. They are my favorite paint to paint with. Bye, Jackie. Have a great day. Hi, Elaine. Eileen. I said Elaine. Hi, Eileen. Good to see you on. My 1/4 inch angle. We're going to go back to that. I'm going to pick up some water in my brush, just a touch. Let's come over and I'm going to pick up a little bit of Doxine Purple. Now, I'm using the media line. It's very, very pigmented. So I want to just continue to walk it out, just to not have it as bright as right there. Work that in on both sides of your brush. And then right at the base of those wings where it meets the body, I'm just going to start there, and then I can lightly pull out some color. So a little bit of purple. Come over on this side. All right, let's dry that. And then I'm going to add a little bit of primary blue. This is also in the Hydrangea, and I love this color. Even though it's blue, it can come off as purple sometimes. And Doxine Purple and Primary Blue are my go-to colors for painting purple hydrangeas. All right, so I'm going to pick up a little bit of that Primary Blue. Put a little bit of that on. Let's let our dragonfly come over. Put a little bit of that Primary Blue on there. Alrighty, so I think we are done with our leaves, our stem, and our dragonfly. Okay, so I'm going to come right up here. Let's go right. Keep going, Sandy. There we go. Now, that's a big close-up, right? So let's go into our colors on the flowers. In between the flowers, we want to put some color there. I'm looking for a better, you know, when you start to clean up a room and organize things and then you find things and you're like, oh, wow, you know, so then you stop what you're doing. So that's why it took me till 11:30 last night, and I'm still not done cleaning my studio. But I need to go through my brushes and really organize them. Okay, I'm going to take a small brush. This is like a zero flat, zero shader with some Payne's Gray. Let's come down here. Payne's Gray and a little touch of Doxine Purple. I'm just going to kind of do that, work that in on that brush. And what I want to do is I want to find these dark pockets. So in the packet and on the finished picture, it shows it really well where those dark pockets are. And we'll come back probably later and add in anywhere if we need to fix up a petal. This is a great way to fix up a petal as well. So I just want to add in these little dark pockets. They're going to look a little strange at first. See, typically, I would take my Doxine Purple and Primary Blue and Payne's Gray and do the whole background. Do the whole background of the hydrangea and then start building from there. But because this series was a little bit more not impressionistic like I like to paint my hydrangeas, I thought it would be best if I broke it down and did them a little differently. So we'll put, do I have one there? Nope, that's not a space. Okay, we've got one here that I painted over, which is fine. I can take that space back. Again, Doxine Purple, Payne's Gray, just brush mix it together. It's just gonna make it nice and rich and dark. And I think there, not sure if I missed any, but they will show up for me when I start painting. And I did leave a space here, but it is not, it's a petal actually, so we'll take care of that. All right, let's do some shading or some floating of color on our petals. I'm gonna start, like I said, with the ones that have 2 coats of lavender on them. So I have my primary blue and my doxine purple. I am going to switch back and forth. Now let me show you this up close again. Look at the difference and variation in color. You have some blues and purples, and you can even see a little green because I came in and I dry brushed some of the antique green on. We just want to switch it up and basically just picking up both colors on your brush. Not sure I'm going to be able to get that in. But I'm using the, thank you, Carol. Happy Mother's Day to you. The purple on the toe of my 1/4 inch angle, work that in, kind of just start walking it over. Easier to add layers than it is to bring in a whole bunch of paint. So I'm going to do, think of it like you're writing a U or a C. Okay, a U or a C. So see that there? And then I might just pick up on that brush that already has purple, I might pick up a little bit of blue. And basically when I come over here to my palette, that's what I'm doing on the toe of the brush. Just a little bit of purple, maybe sometimes a little bit of the primary blue. And we're just going to float that color kind of at the base of those petals and then just slightly walk it up. Now, this is where your mop brush is going to come in really handy just to kind of soften that look. Okay. We're going to get the darks in and then we'll come in with our highlight, which is just going to bring it all together. Okay, so again, a little purple. If the paint's not coming off your brush, you need a little bit more moisture. Let's get a tiny touch of water. And let me show you this little trick. Get some water from your water basin. Just stick a couple dots on your palette. All right, because it's much easier to come over here with the heel of the brush and just lightly touch it. When you dip it into your water basin, most likely you're going to pick up too much water, right? So, going to float that on. Again, a little purple. Now, I am being quite loose with my float. And again, that little small movement of a C or a U. Add a little bit of blue in. Because when you look at a hydrangea, especially like a purple one or a blue, all of them for that matter, you see a variety of colors, even on a purple hydrangea. You know, that primary blue, like I said, comes off as a purple, right? And so I just think it adds to that pretty look of it not all being cookie cutter, exactly the same. And what's going to bring it all together when we put that highlight on. So a little bit more moisture in my brush. Where was I? So you can adjust your color. Once you get done, if you're like, oh, this one needs a little bit more blue, this one needs a little more purple, I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay. So again, just to kind of keep from getting any kind of a line, just soften that with that flat mop. Okay. A little bit more. Yeah, so true, Brenda. And the dark pockets again are going to give that ball, which, you know, hydrangea is pretty much a ball of petal clusters. It's just going to give it that dimension and that shape instead of looking flat. So it's like the dark dead space that no light's getting to. I know I did that one, but it needs a little kick of color. A little more blue. Oops, too much blue. Just touch it with your finger. All right. Hello. Come right down to the base of that petal. All right, so we've done 4. I want to bump this one up just a little with that color right there. And we'll separate them after we get all the petals with the dark in the center, light on the edges. We'll come in and separate those petals more with some shading. A little bit there. This one looks off. There we go. See how that one didn't come off my brush very well? So when you're experiencing that when you're painting, it's because you need more moisture in your brush. You just don't want too much moisture in your brush, like I just did there. On my original, I used both the Americana Doxine Purple and the media line. You can use one or the other or both, completely up to you. When you're painting with, you know, purple flower, it just, one's more intense than the other. Okay, we'll take our, so I just do that, keep from getting any kind of a straight line. Again, it's a little different for me painting hydrangeas this way. I've done it before. It's just different than slapping them on. And like I said, I do have a jar of purple hydrangeas on YouTube. Lesson that I did, one of my very first Sundays in the studio with Sandy, and there's a part 1 and a part 2. Okay, let's add a little bit of blue. That primary blue reminds me of like a phthalo blue. It's just a really gorgeous blue that, again, when you use with purple, can look very purplish. That would be a wimpy float. We don't want wimpy floats. So got to come back and fix that up. A little bit more color. All right, so we did dark, dark, dark. I do have some darks over here. And what I mean by darks is the base coat that I did. Just so that I could separate the petals. Because if I had done them all exactly the same, sometimes when you do that, it's difficult to see what is what petal. So it just helps keep a little separation. Hi, Bonnie. Glad you're back. Yeah, it seems to be some issues with weather and whatever. So glad you're back. Okay, so Doxine Purple. Let me just show you how I'm loading my brush too. For those. Bye, Jessica. Have a great day. So a little bit of that purple. Sometimes I'll go right to the petal then, or I'll just add a little touch of that primary blue. If I add too much like there, just add a little more purple. Okay, so it's just going to give you a pretty color. I don't mix it down to one color because sometimes you'll see a little more purple, sometimes you'll see a little more blue. And I love that. It's one of the great things about brush mixing. Where do I want to go? Let's come over here. Okay. And when I was painting this the first time and thinking to myself, okay, Sandy, just do your slip slap hydrangeas. This part was like, ugh. You know how you have to get over that ugly stage, that hump, and sometimes it's difficult to get past it. I always say that on the other side of that, your masterpiece is waiting for you. So that ugly stage can be a little discouraging because I just looked at the screen. I'm like, oh, that's looking really ugly. Just push past, keep going. It all comes together. A little bit of that in there, a little bit there. Okay. Then a little bit more purple, a little more blue. I need some moisture in my brush, it's quite dry. That is something you have to adjust, you know, depending on where you live. I live in Georgia, it's quite warm, not today, but with my studio lights on, it gets really, really, really hot in here. And so my paint does tend to dry out a little bit quicker. So I am going to use that blue and the Dioxazine purple, and I want to come in, where's that one petal? Like right here, there's a petal, but I want it to be a little bit on the darker side. And then when we highlight it, you can see there's a petal there. It's not the dead space, it's actually a petal. Okay. And then put a little there. Little base of that petal. And again, if you're finding that all your petals are looking purple, just add a little blue here and there, or you can just leave it purple. Completely up to you. Like that one, that was all purple, so add a little more blue. A little bit at the base of these petals. That soft circular motion. I am walking it up a little. I don't mind where it's ending because when I add that highlight, it's going to take care of where it's ending. Plus I did a little dry brushing to brighten up a couple places. All right, here I have a little at the base of that petal. A little at the base of that petal. All right, now the lighter ones I've already started doing. I'm going to go ahead and hit these lighter ones as well, the same color. A little bit of that purple, a little bit of that blue. Because now I have a good separation of those petals. And really what's going to make them pop even more is that highlight that we'll do. That lighter tip on the petal. Let's get that. I think that, yep, that's a petal underneath. I remember I taught a class, I don't remember where, and I don't remember what flower. I just remember saying I had to number them, what petal was what, because there were so many. And when you have a class of, 40 people, it's like, okay, we're going to do this petal. What petal? Where's it, we're going to do petal 4. Again, the base. Use your finger or use the mop. A bit more moisture. And this petal right here is underneath, but we'll get a little dry brushing. So we want to put some color there. A little purple, a little blue. Just stick with me through the ugly stage. And if you're just joining and going, what in the heck is she painting? We're at the ugly stage of my hydrangea. Another great way, at the very end, I'll show you how to wash some color on if you want to add a little more blue, a little bit more purple. All right, let's come down. I keep pushing that up, don't I? Mona, thank you so much for the stars. I greatly, greatly appreciate it. So Carol, I'm using the medium soft flat top. It's an IPC brush by Dynasty. It's super, super soft. And IPC is ink, pastel, and chalk. So, if you're a pastel artist, it's great for pastels and chalk. But it works as a great mop. Okay. First place I saw that is Deb Antonick. Used it. I had used it a couple times before like that, but then when I saw how she used it, I thought, hello, I need to start using that more. So Deb has stamps, brushes, packets on her website. You can check out her website there. All right, let's come in now with our 1/4 inch angle. Thank you, Carolyn. And I'm going to pull this over, but you're not going to be able to see it, so I'm just going to have to lift it. Okay. Now, I am definitely going to be using the mop more now, but with a little bit of moisture in that brush, I'm going to pick up some warm white. Let's work that in. Okay, just on the toe of that brush. Now, I'm going to start in the center just so that you can start to see these flowers come together. And again, remember the heel doesn't have anything on it. So I can start down here and I can work my way up the top of that petal. And then I'll slightly walk it down. And then I'm going to soften it with the mop. Okay. So, and that one actually on my original has a little bit more of a point. So I'm just going to go back and add a little bit more of that point. Okay. And then I will come back at the very end and add just a little bit brighter highlight here and there. So see how some of them have a little bit more white? And we'll do that with a liner brush, but I'll also show you the way you can do it with a pen, which is so much easier. Now, if you have a hydrangea that is purple, like all purple, and it's not that white on the edge, use your base color like lavender with your highlight, either white or warm white, and that will give you a really pretty, oh, sandy. That will give you a really pretty edge to your petal as well. See what I did there? I had way too much paint. All right, got to wash out my brush. Some days are great for floating, some days are not. We're going to move off that petal, and I'm going to come over here. And I want to take care of the petals that are, more noticeable, that stand out. I can see the cluster of 4 petals or the cluster of 3 petals that are more, pronounced. That will just help me get a good start on getting these petals based in. Does that have a point? Has a slight point. Now the other thing too with by adding both those colors to your brush, you know, I might have this petal might be more purple than on my original where it's a little bit more blue. And that's okay. Because I can come in and wash color on. We're going to dry brush some color as well. And now let's come back to this little pesky one. And it does not want, it does not want to highlight, does it? Let's come in with our, I'm coming back with some purple because it is being a pain. Okay, let's move on. I'll come back to it. Have one, never used it, must have thought I just had to have it when I purchased one. Now you know what you can use it for. Oh, thank you, Diane. You're watching on both. I appreciate that. Hopefully both of them are cooperating. Okay, now notice how some of the petals have like a little curve to them. They're not just, it's not just like a 5-petal flower stroke. You've got some movement there. I wiped that off with my finger because I have a little bit of blue in my brush. And while I don't mind it, I don't want it on just yet. Okay, I'm gonna wipe that off. Picked up a little bit of water in my brush just to move that a little bit better. And then I'll walk it down just slightly and soften. Okay. That softening really is key. Now let's go back to this little pesky guy and let's see if it's going to let me add a highlight. Still not playing nice, but better than how it was behaving. All right, a little bit more. Oh my goodness, just went into green. It's not what we want, is it? And I'm gonna switch, I'm using my 1/4 inch angle. I'm gonna switch to my 3/8, and let me tell you why. Do you see how I'm getting more of a soft, smaller floated area? It's because my brush is probably too small for that area. If you're comfortable with a 1/4, you can use a 1/4, but I am gonna switch to my 3/8. I just feel like that's gonna give me a better float, hopefully. Oh yeah. So do yourself a favor. When you start to feel like you're fighting that brush, let's move that over. You know, go up or down a size. Okay. What's funny is usually when I'm floating at home, I don't do anything. I don't even know if I breathe, to be honest with you. So if I don't talk a lot when I'm floating color, that's why. I'm concentrating. Don't want you to think that the volume has gone off. Bring that down and around. Hopefully I'm still on camera. All right, so we've got, what, 3 petals so far. And I am going to come back up to this one because, like I said, using that 1/4" angle, there we go. I was fighting my brush, which is crazy because then I'm not short on brushes. So again, if you're just joining us, thanks for being here. Happy Mother's Day. And got some awesome giveaway prizes. I will announce those on Thursday. So like, comment, share is the only thing you need to do to enter to win. Soften that. Again, I'm almost like that little U, that little C stroke. There we go. See, that looks too much like a line for me. So we're gonna soften that. We're gonna move off that flower petal right there. A little bit of white, warm white is what I'm using. Thank you, Tammy. Okay, let's go over here. I'm trying to look at my original, but to be honest with you, I'm not going to. I'm just going to look here because my color is a little different than on my original. And like I said, that's fine. I can go back in and add more blue, which I'm going to do, and even add in a little bit more purple. Don't be too hard on yourself about that floating. It's very loose. I came back in and I added some dry brushing and shading. And when we do that, you'll see it come together. All right, so where are we going to go now? Let's go up here. Soften that with that mop. And then that's an underneath petal, so we're going to go here. Now, this is an option too when you're painting a hydrangea this way. Oh, I just got, hello, white on my whole brush. Is to do the highlight around the tip of your petal first. And then come back and add the shading, because I did, like I said, when I came back in with my colors, you know, you can darken some of that center if you need to. I don't mind going back and forth. You know, it's that layering. It's just the way I paint. It's my preferred way to paint, instead of trying to put a whole bunch of paint on my brush and get it done with, you know, 1 stroke or, you know, even 2. It's just easier for me to layer and come back and add more, darken, highlight, everything in layers. Plus, I have found over the years that when I do that when I make a mistake, it's not so difficult to fix because the layer is very thin, right? All right, so I'm going to stay here just so I can keep my hand out of the way. We'll come here, a little bit of moisture. We'll soften that. Okay, sometimes when I turn it though, I lose track of where things are. So I am going to come back, and this one is what I would say is a wimpy float. So let's come back, add a little bit more. There we go. Where's that petal? That petal goes underneath, but it's got a really pretty tip there, and I really like on my original how much blue is on that one. So I will go back and put more blue, I know there. See how my brush isn't moving, how it's dragging? When it does that, you need water or some medium. If you don't like to use water, you know, the fast drying glazing medium from Josanya. Yes, very different, right, Judy? From my Slip Slap hydrangeas, which are, like I said, done in like no time. But I really loved the way these came together on this piece. So let's get, I could switch to my quarter, but I'm not. I'm going to stay there. Those little petals in the back. And this petal comes around. Because I typically don't. My pattern is me sketching out with my brush or with the pencil. So since I don't use a pattern, I paint my petal in with the shape of the petal. So it's easy. I can see the movement of the paint. But when you're painting it, if you're like, oh, I don't know which petal is which, before you start painting them, again, like I said, only do half, or you know, the ones that are more prominent that you can see, and work in layers, you know, just like we're doing. All right, that one has a tip right there. Now, there are some hydrangeas that have a point on their petals, some that are a little more rounded. You can make them however you want. Whatever is your favorite. I'm not real partial to the pointy ones. But some of these I'm painting, they're kind of looking like a dogwood petal that has that little dip. So I am going to round out some of them. So see just that extra layer right there of that white, how it made that petal pop. I knew this part was going to take a little bit longer than the other, so I knock out those leaves, dragonfly, stem. All right, let's come over here, move my hand out of the way. A little bit of soft mopping. And this one, I do love this petal. This one goes out, and then it has a little crimp in it. I was going off of some hydrangea pictures from hydrangea that I had. I'm not very good at growing hydrangeas. I usually kill them. And living in Georgia, I don't have a lot of, what's the word, shade. It's either hot or lots of sun. So this one doesn't have a lot of light. So we're gonna put it on, wipe it off. Just don't wanna leave it bare. All right. I need to move that. I keep getting my hand, for whatever reason, in green paint. So I'm gonna move my palette. This one's covered a little bit. Little edge on that. So I painted all of them exactly the same, but when I go back and show you guys the little touches and tweaks and stuff on these petals, there are some that, you know, need to be a little bit darker and some that need to be a little bit brighter. And that's easy to fix when you come back at the end and start adding those little details. All right, let's come up here. So warm white, a little bit of moisture. It's hard not to use my fingers, but this really does make a difference. It's hard when that's what I usually do. Your brush isn't moving like that, get a little bit of moisture in it. It's telling on you. Okay. Bye, Susan. Have a great day. Thanks for being here. Bye, Henriette. I know it's late there, isn't it? Thanks for being here. Don't forget to message me and let me know what ePacket you want, and I will email that off to you for being the first to comment on Facebook. And Judy Thacker, make sure you message me. You can either do that on the group or on Messenger or email. Let me know. Okay, I'm being stubborn. My paint's a little dry. Let's get that on. Add a little bit more moisture to it. All right, this petal, we're going to add just a little bit there. Did you guys watch the Kentucky Derby yesterday? Oh my gosh, it was amazing. I don't like to see the horses being hit. That really bothers me, but I will say it was an amazing race. Okay, let's turn that over and start looking at where we need to add something. Okay, so stopped on that one for whatever reason. So it definitely helped. I don't know if you guys can see the difference. I definitely can see it and feel it, the difference in using that 1/4 inch angle and the 3/8 angle, a brush that's a little bit bigger for the size. This one has a little bit of white there. We just don't want to leave anything out, but there will be some things like this petal, you can barely see it. So it's going to be darker, and we'll just put a little wash of dark over that. I was standing in my studio and I thought, oh, the Kentucky Derby's on. So I literally turned it on the last turn of the race as they came around that last bend. And I don't watch it. The only thing I watch horse racing is the Kentucky Derby. Sometimes the Preakness, but I was like screaming in my studio. I'm like, go, go. I was so excited for that underdog to win. Always nice to see the underdog win, right? All right, let's get that petal right there. Yeah, one that always cheers for the underdog. Okay, a little bit brighter there. It's kind of a playing game. It's a playing game of that light and dark, separating things. We have a little bit brighter here. All right. So, over here, this one kind of comes to a little bit of a point. You know, they all don't just lay flat. You know, if you want to paint hydrangeas, I highly recommend getting a hydrangea, or you know, if you have them growing in your yard, take a bunch of pictures. Take them from the side, take them from the front. It really does make a difference viewing them from different angles. Alrighty. Okay, I'm going to switch gears. So I'm going to come in with my small mezzaluna brush, wherever that may be. Okay, that one has green, so I need to get that green out. I don't rake, you know, like if you've got one of those water basins that has a rake in it, don't rake these. It's not really nice on the bristles. So I'm gonna do that. So I typically will do that, wipe that up, get out some clean. Okay. And I am going to dry brush that color on, but not yet. So, okay. So, let's see. Love hydrangeas, wish I could grow them. Same here, Peg. Bye, Lynn. Oh, thank you, Deborah. Is it Canistra? What a pretty name. All right, so let's pick up. I'm going to switch to my mezzaluna, like I said, and let me bring this over. I'm going to pick up a little bit of purple. So let's see where we're at. Some dioxazine purple, just a little, and some warm white. Oh, I have some warm white down there too. All right, I'm just going to brush mix that. And then I'm going to wipe off. So my paper towel's dry. I want to wipe that off. And basically we're going to highlight, but not bright, these little petals that are like underneath. Okay, so they don't have an edge. They don't have a, so what I'm talking about is the petals like here and there and there. Okay, so I dry brushed white, and then I actually came back and I floated some color on if I wanted a little more blue, a little more purple, or a little bit of that antique green, because you see that in hydrangeas as well. So we don't want to make them too light, but we do want to add a little bit of that dry brush texture on there. I'm trying to look and see where. I got one there. I think I did that one. That one. Okay, I can't wait to show you the shading, because once the shading goes on, it, you know, just separates those flowers better. Oh, a little bit more. I would say that has more of the warm white than you know, the purple, just a tiny, tiny touch of purple. Okay. Now let's go back to our 3/8 angle. Oh, God. Glad I said it right. I can butcher a name, let me tell you. So I'm going to come back with my, let's get my palette here. I'm going to use the media. It doesn't matter which one, but a little bit of the media on the toe of my angle brush, and I'm using a 3/8 angle. Little tiny touch of Payne's Gray. That's just going to make it a little bit darker. If I just use Payne's Gray, it makes it too dark. So I like to mix those. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to start adding in and laying in some of this darker color at the base. And every now and then I'll come and pick up a little bit of that primary blue, just to, you know, incorporate some of that color. but look how just that right there separated that from that. All right, same thing here. What is that petal right there? That one we're going to separate right there. And I'm going to add some white to that one. Okay. So I'll separate this one from there. I need to move my mix a little bit closer to me. I did it on the top right of my palette, and it's like the farthest reach. Hello. Make it easy on yourself. And I don't know if you guys saw, I did a post, I don't know, last month sometime. After watching umpteen lives of people with their palette on the left-hand side and constantly crossing, I guess it's a little pet peeve of mine. It shouldn't bother me. Why do I care? But while watching, it's kind of, and I just have to say, as a painter, it will make your life much easier if your palette is on the side that you are either right-handed or left-handed. Okay, this has a little tiny shading right there. Right here, I'm going to pop in right between those two. I'm going to pop in just a little bit of that color, Doxine Purple and Payne's Gray, just to make a little dead space right there. Okay, so see how that separated those two as well? And then we will shade there. Shade there. Now, what happens when you shade, like I mentioned, you might go, oh, now I need to brighten my highlights. They tell on each other, if you didn't know that. So once you do one, if it needs to be bumped up, then, you know, just say, okay, I'll just bump it up and darken it or brighten it. Now, look at where that stamped image right there. I'm going to bring some of that background color since I have it on my palette, and I'm just going to take that away. Because what it's doing is it's making my petal, since it's white on the edge, it's making it look like it's got a tiny little point. So we are going to take it away. Okay. So let's come in there, separate that. Little purple, little Payne's Gray. Every now and then I'm picking up a little bit of that primary blue. And very little Payne's Gray, very little purple. We don't want a whole bunch of color. Thank you, Wendy. All right, so separate that. And then I have, separate those. You can always come back with your mop, kind of soften that out if you need to. Where do I have these two separated? Okay, so hopefully you're starting to see how that's coming together. One thing about hydrangeas that I've always loved is when you put in that center, it's like all of a sudden it's a hydrangea. It's a cluster of 4 petals. Like I said, I don't always put my little centers in, but when I do love the way it just like happens. It's like magic. Little dark spot in here, a little dead spot. Just gonna touch it and soften it. I want to get a little bit dark behind this petal. All right, where else do I have? A little bit of dark spot right there. That needs to be darkened just a little bit more. And that's a good spot for a little bit of that dry brushing on, where was I? Oh, right here. Just a little bit. Wipe off a little more. All right. Pink hydrangeas. Yes. Pink hydrangeas, I would do, what do I use? I would use a dark color as your base for the pink. So maybe alizarin crimson or deep burgundy. And then I would go to, oh, my base color probably would be baby pink. And then your dark, either some alizarin crimson, deep burgundy maybe, and then your highlight, a little, what is it? What color am I thinking in my head and I can't say it? Oh, so the baby pink and a little bit of warm white. I'm trying to think, do I have a pink hydrangea anywhere? I don't think so. Purple and blue are my favorites, and so that's what I tend to paint. I'm looking at my original, and I probably shouldn't. I probably should just do this the way it looks. Okay, we've got a little dark spot right here we need to darken up. There, and right here. Yeah, and I just turned my brush over and used the toe of that. A little bit of Dioxazine purple, a little Payne's gray. I'm gonna make that dead space for you. All right, let me see. Right here, a little bit more. And we'll separate those two. And then a little bit more at the base of this petal. Remember, we started that way, doing a little bit of that dark, but it's much easier to put it on, come back and tweak it if you need it. And I say that because I have had students sometimes in class like, well, we just did that. Why do we have to do it again? You have to do it again if it needs to be done again. Does that make sense? So while you might have putting on the highlight, you might need to adjust your dark and vice versa. So don't get hung up on, you have to get it all done in one time. All right, I just saw a place right there. All righty. Now, I'm going to go ahead and put my centers in, which might seem a little strange, but when I'm painting hydrangeas, again, if I'm putting a center in, I feel like it just helps me see the whole flower as a whole. I do need to fix right here, though. A little bit of gray. Just my background color. So the centers I just did with that Dioxazine purple, a little bit of Payne's gray, and I'm just going to kind of put little dot. I'm not going to highlight them yet. I'm just kind of getting my bearings for where my main clusters are going to be. And I really need to change that petal. So Dioxazine purple, Payne's gray. I didn't mix it down to one color. I just loaded both of them on this liner brush. I don't even know what liner brush that is. It's a Dynasty. Of course, it's a Dynasty because it's what I have in my studio. But I don't know. I just grabbed it. But you know, that 15-aught, 5-aught, a rigger for that matter, whatever liner brush you like, use. So we've got dots there. We've got a dot there, there. Got a dot here. And I'm just tapping, so I'm not doing, you know, I'm not drawing a circle, just kind of tapping it on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Now on a petal that you have that's like tucked in, you could always pop in a little center if you wanted to. I didn't, but you certainly could. So let's leave that for now, because what I'm going to do now is come back in with my angle brush, and I'm going to use my 1/4 inch angle. Has it already been 2 hours since we started painting? You're so welcome, Sheila. Thanks for being here on Mother's Day. Okay, so a little bit more purple, a little bit of blue. And we're just going to, so this is, I just kind of came in with a little purple, little blue, just kind of add it here and there, right at the base of those petals. And so if you want more blue, add more blue. If you want more purple, add more purple. I probably should dry that. Hopefully it's not going to move. That's the petal right there I said I was going to fix. And let me show you how you can fix it. So angle brush, a little bit of white. And I just don't like the shape of it. It looks like an oval. So I'm going to bring that up and just make it look like the petal was always that big. There. And I don't even mind that little white line, don't mind it at all. I don't have a lot of rules in painting, but my #1 rule is if you like it, leave it. And if you don't, figure out a way to fix it. And my rule #2 is to remember rule #1. So just adjusting a little color, what needs to be brighter, what needs to be a little darker. What's going to help separate those petals isn't always shading. Sometimes it is, you know, that highlight coming down and making an edge on that petal that maybe wasn't there before. Okay, so I want that petal to overlap. Highlight there. And even though we can't see that little guy, just that little tiny touch of that white, you know, made that the edge of that petal appear, right? But not, we don't want it bright. We wouldn't want it as white and bright as anywhere else on a full petal that you can see. All right, so we have, that one needs to come forward. So I'm going to bring that little highlight, bring it kind of down. Tap that. Now it's just about bringing these, again, either forward or back. Darkening with a little of that purple and blue, or brightening and giving an edge with a little bit of that warm white. I have that. I want this one. So see, those two petals touch, they need to be separated, and I'm going to separate them with a little bit of a highlight. Okay, where does that one go? Oh, this one has a petal in the back, so we're just going to make a little tiny highlight on the tip there that you can't see. And then we're going to darken that. A little purple, a little bit of that primary blue. All right, let's come back around. She's probably giving you guys whiplash, right? Okay. So now looking at my, my flower as a whole, again, my very last thing that I do when I'm painting is reevaluate those lights and darks. They really, they make a difference. So, and then your color. If you want to add more purple, add more purple. If you want to add more blue, add more blue. Let's bring that edge right there. Do you want to brighten that just a touch? And then, where's my dry brush? Need a little bit of dry brush right there. Okay, and then I did come back and I loaded my Mezzaluna, my small one, with titanium white this time. And then I'm going to wipe it off. And I just wanted to kind of pull down on not all of them, but some of the from the tip, the edge of that petal down, just to add a little bit of texture. Not too much, Sandy. Okay, that needs to be separated a lot more. So we're going to put that petal in front. See how that pushes that back? Alrighty. Now I'm going to come in, oh, Lucy, I make mistakes all the time. And sometimes they kind of keep me from moving forward. I'm just like, ugh, you got to walk away from it, come back, because I'm a firm believer that this is supposed to be fun and enjoyable. And when I start to get a little stressed, I just walk away from it because this is my happy place. This is my, let's go there. And I know there's a way to fix it. And oftentimes walking away, you just get a much better mindset and perspective when you come back that, okay, let's knock this out. All right, it's looking very purple. So I'm going to pick up my, I'm going to zoom out just a touch. So I'm looking at my camera over here to see where I need to add something. I'm going to use that number 4 flat. Happy accidents, as Bob Ross would say, right? Thank you, Marty. I love this series too. I'm sad to see it end. Like I said, I said maybe my final, but I'm ready to start the next one. So, which is my stacked teacups. All right, so a little bit of that primary blue. Oh my goodness gracious. Sandy. Just spilled this little thing of water. So a little bit of that blue, and I'm going to come in and see where maybe I need a little bit more of that blue, or I want a little bit more of that blue. If it's looking very heavy and purple, just add a little bit of that primary blue here and there, but not everywhere. And then same thing, if you have too much blue, you can come in and add a little bit of purple. That needs to be separated. So we're going to do that with Doxine Purple and Payne's Gray. Where was I? Right here. And I'm going to separate that with a little tiny dark line. A little dead space. Okay. So back to the blue. A little primary blue. Kind of here and there. It looks really pretty when you brush it over that white. The purple and the blue do. So don't be afraid to get it on that white. And next time you're looking at hydrangeas, look at all the different colors. Even if it's a pink one, you've got light shades, dark shades. Let's put a little separation there. Okay, I'm gonna dry this real quick. I did say, Sheila, I did stacked teacups with my membership group, and it had pansies in it, so that's gonna be our spring stacked teacup lesson that I'm gonna do on the 22nd. And then I'm going to do summer, spring, winter, fall, stacked teacups with different flowers. The fall one has sunflowers. All right, let's get a little bit of white. And I'm gonna wipe off my paper towel. So just to get the majority of that off, just like a stencil brush. It's easier to add more, it's much harder to take it away. And I really do love the softness in my hydrangeas from the dry brushing that I put on. So I want to add a little bit more. I think it just really adds that texture and a little touch of lightness. Now, if you like really dark purple, Payne's Gray, Doxine Purple are your friends. Need a little bit more color. You know, it's like when you paint something in black, black's not just black. You use purple in it. And it really makes a big difference. So, but look how that just brightens up. Very, very little touch. And if you have any that look like they just have a line around them, and so I'm trying to find one that really, you probably can see it better than I can, but like this one that just has a line, looks like right there. I'm going to add a little bit more dry brush, just give it a little more texture, break up that line. So a little warm white. Doesn't have to be on the whole petal. You know, maybe you want it lighter over on one side. Lighten it up. What's this one? Work it in. Oh, thank you, Vanessa. Again, y'all's teacups were amazing in the group. I should start sharing those on my Sandy McTeer Designs page too, so people can see them. And I loved yours too, Vanessa, the colors, that like coral. So that's very purple, but look how that is just, can you guys see that? It's bringing it together. I'm gonna go back to my 1/4 inch angle. I'm afraid we're gonna get kicked off Facebook here in a minute if I don't hurry up. And a little bit of purple or a little bit of blue. And see, that needs a little wash of that primary blue. And I'm just looking for really like in my face, it's all purple and white, and it needs either a little more purple or a little more primary blue. A little moisture in my brush right Oh, I love that on the white, when that blue hits that white. Again, it reads as purple. Okay, let's come in with our liner brush. I'm gonna get that wet. I'm gonna pick up some warm white because I don't want them too bright. And then, and have your mop handy too, because I want to kind of accentuate maybe the edges on a couple of these. And like I said, I'm gonna show you with the brush, but then if you have like a gel pen, jelly roll, or what's the other one? The Uniball Signo. The thing is, these aren't permanent. So you have to use a fixative, workable fixative, or a matte spray to go over them. But this is the Uniball Signo, and you can do the edge. And I like to kind of touch it. See how it softens it out? But you can do that little edge on the petal if you don't want to use paint. I used paint. That's how I'm going to show you and finish this with that edge. Is a little bit of white. And it doesn't need it everywhere. Okay. But certainly to help separate petals and just bring a little bit more of an edge. I did there. We don't want it to look outlined. So that's the only advice I can give you, that if you go to put it on and you're like, oh, that's too outlined, take your mop and soften it out. Okay, take your finger and swipe it into the center. I like to pull them down so you don't see an end line or a start line. Does that one have? It doesn't, but I'm going to add one. I just feel like it needs to be separated a little more. Okay. Let me think. And it's still a little on the purple side for me, but I'm gonna leave it because I do want to dry brush a little green on. Now, what happens when you do that on these clusters that have 3 and 4 petals is it gives the illusion, the appearance that all of them, you know, come together like that, even though they're not all showing. So I have that. I have that one that's right there. And I did this part after I got done. I was like, oh, it needs some green. It really needs some green on there. And so when I dry brush that on and it hits the white every now and then, that off white, oh, so pretty. I have a mop in this hand, but I'm using my mop, my sandy mop. If you guys don't use your fingers to blend, I highly recommend it. It works great. All right, this needs some separation right here. So just a tiny little highlight. There. Okay, let's take care of this petal, which has nothing. It's like, what is wrong with that petal? It needs some color. Put a little blue. So if you're painting this along with me, or if you're going to paint it later, you got the ePacket and you're going to paint it, don't be too hard on yourself about every single petal looking exactly like mine. Just go with it. You know, when you paint it on, if it's not as bright or as dark or as light, or if you have an extra petal. I have petals on here that I don't have on my original because I was going with the flow, not really, you know, like, okay, this has to be exactly the way it is on my other one. I don't go there. I give myself some leniency and artistic license. Again, soften that. That softening takes away a little bit of that outlined look. We need to separate that. All right, then the centers. So I'm going to take that liner brush with some purple and some white and some water to make it nice and thin. Hello, Meninder Mona. Good to see you on. Okay, and so I don't want to cover up all the dark, but I am going to tap, tap, tap. Tap, 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 tap. Tap, tap, tap. So it's not just one dot. You've got several little clusters of dots, but I can still see my dark. It's just going to help that center show up more. Remember, I put one up here. And I want to highlight that right there. I'm seeing areas that I need to highlight. Okay. If that's a little on the white side, you can always come back with a little bit of that purple with that white and add it. I remember I taught hydrangeas at a seminar, and I stopped and I bought some plants, some hydrangea plants for the chairperson and then also the person that I was staying at their home. And I remember I was in class, and this is a good lesson, guys. I said, hydrangeas do not have yellow centers. Okay. Let me just say, be careful with what you think in absolutes. Because the hydrangeas I bought, they had a slight yellow center. And I was like, oh, I have never, ever seen a hydrangea with yellowy green centers. This one had that. And so it's kind of like, I hear oftentimes, oh, I heard you have to always shade before you highlight. Well, do you? I don't think so. You can flip-flop back and forth. Is there an easier way that you will get used to doing things your way? And, you know, yes. You guys just get to see me do my things my way. And sometimes they're not easy. Sometimes, you know, I frustrate myself. It's like, okay, I made that a lot harder than it needed to be. You just have to remember it's supposed to be fun. So I'm just adding, I want this one to separate a little more, so a little more dry brushing. All right. So I'm loving the blue over here, and then I feel like I kind of got off of adding in a little bit more of that blue here and there. Again, just adds that variation of color. Let me zoom out just a touch. Now my last little thing I'm going to do on that is dry brushing a little green. So I still have some of that warm white, and that's okay. Oop, my thing is sticking. So a little bit of that antique green, load it up, mix it around, wipe it off. Oh, thank you, Donna. I miss you so much. Thank you, Norma. I'm happy. Thanks for spending y'all's Mother's Day with me. Okay, so I have a little bit of that antique green. I had some warm white. But I just want to add touches. So I don't want to push real hard. I just want to like swipe it on. Just little touches of green here and there. Again, that's just going to add to a little bit more of that natural nature look. Let's see, I have a little there. A little there. And I could so totally see brightening up the edges, outlining some of those edges a little bit more. I'm not going to do that now. You guys have a good idea, I think, of how you can have this all come together. A little bit. See how that green hits that warm white? Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, let's do some cast shadows. So while we're up here, I'm going to take that number 4 flat, rinse it out, pick up a little bit of Payne's Gray, just a touch. If you don't have any other color in the media line, Payne's Gray. Payne's Gray. It will be your best friend. I promise you. Okay. And I'm going to add just a little bit of a stroke. Let's get a little bit more so you guys can see it. So I'm just going to mimic the shape of that petal. Okay, just mimic the shape of that petal. I went a little bit darker so that you guys can see it. I think maybe a little too dark. Have a little bit under there. Okay. Let's move down here. Oh, I do have a little right on this, just a little sliver. Okay. Now on this one, my stem, I have that shadow on the right side, and I'm just going over everything. Not my dragonfly. I'm going to skip him. Let's zoom out so that you can see where I'm at, since you can't see where I'm at, right? There we go. Okay. So I have that on that right side of the stem. Now, if you get it too dark, all you have to do is a wash of that background color. So that slate gray, just do a little wash right over that, and it will tone it down without taking it away. Okay, I love adding cast shadows to leaves. Especially in areas like here where you can add a little bit of a loop to mimic that right there. And then here, just a little cast shadow there. And then here, I love to do this where my tip is a little bit away, and then I'll bring it closer to my leaf. Underneath, and then the stem away again, just makes it lift off that surface. Those little things excite me in painting. Okay, right over the dragonfly. All right, and look at our dragonfly. He looks like he's just about ready to jump off that surface, right? All right, let me zoom out. Okay, and I'm going to show you the difference between my my original and my finished one, and let you know what I love on my original. I was even brighter with my highlight on the leaves. I love that. Okay. My flowers are very similar. My petals are similar, but I do like the brightness on these petals, and that's just a little bit more dry brushing. All right. And on my dragonfly, let's zoom into here. What I do, oops, hello. What I do like on my original dragonfly is the color. See how this one's just kind of, It needs a little more color. So I am going to add that just a little. And since it's Mother's Day, hold on, let's get a little more color. I'm going to say our live's going to go a little long today. But I understand if you've got to go. Okay. So again, a little bit more purple, just a little more color. It needs a little oomph. I need to zhuzh it up a little. A little more blue, a little more purple. And then a highlight. And again, you can do a highlight with a pen or highlight with a brush, but I do like the highlight on my finished one with that white. So we're going to come in with some white, and we'll just do a little highlight, kind of like right along the top of that wing. There. Okay. I think, and I love, look how dark my shadow is on my original versus right here. That is what I would say is a wimpy float. Now, when you're doing cast shadows, where's my brush? If you go over it too many times, and I mean like 3, even sometimes 2, it lifts. So if I want to intensify that, I can come back and I can make it darker. Another go around. Okay. Sometimes I like to touch it just to soften it. Okay, so that edge right there, I'll show you how to get rid of that. Like I said, a wash of that gray. It's very watery. It's going to look just like water, but it actually has gray. It'll just tone it down. All right, let me dry that. I'm going to zoom out. Let's zoom out, Sandy. So again, that optional pink, that quinacridone magenta. Oh, that does not look good now. I should have left well enough alone, right? A little bit of gray. And then I can come back and add that later. I'm gonna leave it. All right. Let me move that. And I got green here, but my frame's gonna cover that. So I'm not too fussed about that at all. Oh, goodness me. You're so welcome. Late to the party. Hi, Marjorie. Rule number 3, don't be a wimpy floater. Great rule number 3. Chris. Yes, awesome. So I'm really pleased with that. What do you guys think? Nice. And then with the frame, again, this surface is my glasses. It's really my eyes, but this frame surface is from cdwood.com. Go check them out. That's the item number right there for this surface. And then I will let you guys know soon when I post about my stacked teacups, what surface it is. I have a couple things in mind. The first one I painted on a journal page with my membership group. So I'm going to move it to a surface, and I already have a surface in mind. I just need to order more. So, all right, am I forgetting anything? Thank you, Cheryl. Thank you, Wendy. Thank you, Paula. Oh, Sharita, thank you so much. Thank you guys for spending your Mother's Day with me. Have to go, beautiful flower. Thank you, Beverly. So, what else? I really appreciate it. Oh, and Tule pens. The Tule pens are awesome, right? I don't have any here with me since I didn't use it today, but I do. Oh, I do. I have them right here. So these are great little pens to use to add details and things like that, and they're permanent. So you can write over your painted areas. You can add little detail lines. You don't have to spray it or seal it or anything. It's just going to be permanent for you. So, all right, guys, don't forget the giveaways. I will either come on or I will post it on my page on Thursday. So if you're on YouTube, come over to my Sandy McTeer Designs Facebook page on Thursday afternoon. And I will post the winners for the giveaway. And then my next live is on the 22nd here on my Sandy McTeer Designs page. We're going to be doing the stacked teacups, and I hope you'll join me. But if you paint this, I hope you'll share it, tag me, let me see your piece. And you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. Thank you, Linda. Thank you, Lori. Thank you, Diane. Thank you, Irma. I've told you guys before, right, when I've watched this one lady on live, she's very crafty. She does crafty things, but amazing crafty things. And there are people on there that say, why do you say hi to everybody? Don't you guys like to be said hi to? I like when someone sees my name on something. Missed all the middle and the ending. Kiddos came. Well, Anne, I'm so glad that your kiddos came. No worries. It's on repeat. You can go watch it. All right, guys, have a fantastic day. Thanks for being here. I appreciate y'all. See you later. Bye.